Bonjour, mes enfants. It's Uncle Dan the Vinyl Man, back with another episode of Uncle Dan's Vintage Vinyl. And I'm here today to tell you what to do. You know what you got to do? You got to shake your moneymaker. Yeah, that's right, because you got a gal. She just won't be true. She won't do a thing. You tell her to. Yeah, I'm here to talk about. I'm here. I'm here to talk about God. Yeah. I'm here to talk about the real, true, one supreme being. Elmore James. That's right. Great Elmore James. King of the slide guitar. And just Uncle Dan's favorite. Him and Hound Dog. You know, I give them both there. You know, this is the father. Hound Dog was his only begotten son. Although Hound Dog was actually 3 years older than Elmore. Elmore was born in 1918 and Hound Dog was born in 1915. But who's counting? Elmore came to prominence before Hound Dog did. So, he tends to get top billing. Elmore James was, I just think, one of my favorite musicians of all time. I got this album. This was the first real blues album I bought. I'd been a fan of, yes, you can blame me for this. I'd been a fan of Eric Clapton and was getting into the blues through Clapton and maybe a couple of others at the time. This was in 77, 78. And I thought, well, I'll go back and, I knew that Clapton was a fan of Elmore. I had some album with tribute to Elmore on it. So, excuse me, my ears are wanting to pop. But I'd gotten some album with tribute to Elmore on it, and I thought, well, I'll go check out Elmore James. I found this album at a record store in Carbondale, Illinois. I was dating a woman who lived in Carbondale. I lived in southeast Missouri, but it was a short jaunt over to Carbondale, and she was in graduate school in Carbondale. But I got over there and bought this, and then took it home and listened to it, and I was blown away. This was music of an intensity and that I associated with one person really whom I liked. It was Ray Charles, and Elmore's vocals, his guitar. It was great, and I just loved it, and so I ended up buying. I think my second blues album I bought, I believe, was Hound Dog Taylor, and the House Rockers, the original album by them, the first from Alligator Records, and I had a video about that recently. But anyway, yeah, I just loved Elmore. And I still love this album. This album I've listened to more than probably any album I own. I think this has been the one I've listened to most often. This is just home to me. 16 greatest hits, so you can see there. Dust My Broom, Shake Your Moneymaker, It Hurts Me Too. Every Day I Have the Blues, Picking the Blues, a great instrumental. Anna Lee. Mean Mistreating Mama, Up Jumped Elmore, another instrumental. Sunnyland Train, My Baby's Gone, Bleeding Heart, She's Got to Go, Talk to Me Baby, I Believe, Look on Yonder Wall, and 12-Year-Old Boy. 12-Year-Old Boy has the most questionable lyrics ever. I let a 12-year-old boy take my baby away from me. Yeah. This was a compilation. Elmore didn't release any albums in his lifetime. He died in 1963. Actually, May 24, 1963. May 24 is Bob Dylan's birthday, so I believe that's Bob Dylan's 22nd birthday, and Elmore died on that day. Only 45 years old. He'd had heart problems for years, but died on that day. But put out a fair amount of singles before then on trumpet. Recorded with the Bahari Brothers with their I think Modern and Fire labels, and I maybe Enjoy. I've got a ton of stuff on CD by Elmore. I've got a bunch of albums too. But just he was great, and he really didn't put out I don't think he ever put out a bad a bad song at all. Everyone was good. A lot of them follow the Dust My Broom, and some of them are just complete copies, Dust My Blues and stuff like that. But they're all worth listening to. It was, and some of them are the best. Not on this album, but Something Inside Me is truly just God level work. Gorgeous guitar work, gorgeous vocals by Elmore. Goodbye Baby, another. Elmore was just played beautifully on those. He typically didn't play a lot of notes, but his placement was great. You can play the same licks, if you're a guitarist, you can play the same licks that Elmore played. And he just played them with, his placement, his vibrato on the slide. He played with a metal slide on his little finger. Just great. There's, I've read a piece about somebody, a white journalist, going to hear him and just saying it was the most intense experience he'd ever had. And he'd heard people like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, who were, incredible musicians. So, just great. This is, the recording quality on this, or the pressing quality, it's not great. And I think some of it is faked stereo, which tends to be, I think, not great. I don't like fake stereo. Just have it mono. I'm fine with the mono album. And the Trip Records label. This was just cheap stuff that was put out. There's a great photo of Elmore on there. Elmore was playing there, and typically a lot of us. Well, there aren't a great many photos of Elmore around, but he was playing there. What looks to be a K flat top guitar, K flat top acoustic guitar, plexiglass, or other, probably plexiglass filler over the sound hole with some holes in it, and a pickup mounted in there. Elmore had worked as a radio technician and knew about that, and reportedly played through PA systems that he would modify so that they would work with the impedance of the guitar pickups, which is different from the microphone impedance. And on that point, I have a little tiny PA head and a cabinet with like a 6 or 8 inch speaker in it. I can't remember right now. Plug an electric guitar into the mic input on that, and it sounds like doom. It sounds like a million explosions. It's great. So he was doing that. I think if you're a fan of the blues, you ought to have some Elmore in there. People put Muddy and Howlin' Wolf and John Lee Hooker above Elmore, and I don't think so. I'm willing to say they're all as great as Elmore. Elmore is my favorite. I think that he was, he speaks to me, but I'm willing to say, sure. Those guys, Albert King, Freddie King, some of the others, Luther Allison, who was a superb guitarist, and a great slide guitarist too. Both finger style and that is fretted style and slide. But great. But you ought to have some, if you're serious about the blues, have some, serious about the electric blues. Go get yourself some Elmore, because that stuff is just great. So, yeah, Uncle Dan, every day I have the blues. Yeah. And now, I'm wishing you, as always, my children, mes enfants, au revoir. And what do we say then? Et aussi, à bientôt.